Internet connection is being shut down in Iran while death toll rises amid protests over the killing of Mahsa Amini, who was brutally killed by the police over dressing improperly.
Here's a summary of the article.
Dubai, September 21. Iranian authorities said 3 people had been killed on Tuesday as anger at the death of a woman detained by the morality police fueled protests for a 5th day and fresh restrictions were placed on social media. Official sources now say a total of 7 people have been killed since protests erupted on Saturday over the death of Mahsa Amini, a 22-year-old from Iranian Kurdistan who died last week after being arrested in Tehran for unsuitable attire. Officials have denied that security forces have killed protesters. With the protests spreading to over 50 cities and towns, authorities restricted access to the Internet. According to accounts from Hangah, residents, and Internet shutdown observatory NetBlocks. After beginning on Saturday at Amini's funeral in the Kurdish region, protests have engulfed much of the country, prompting confrontations as security forces have sought to suppress them. A senior security official told Reuters that security forces have been ordered to curb the protests. An activist in Iran's Kurdistan province said, "We are getting warnings from the security organizations to end the protests or face jail."
This post received a score of 29,000, with an upvote ratio of 97%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
This is bad. This has happened before. They make the country go dark and slaughter the protesters. That's why I have a hard time feeling optimistic about these protests. The Islamic Revolutionary Government is too good at dealing with large-scale unrest. Super brutal and way fucked up, but this happens every few years, once a decade in a big way. But really that country is a great example of what happens when a vocal, yet not small, minority controls, fills out the military and government. Most people have no means to better their situation other than risking death, because even though most people may agree on these issues, those who don't have gun, judges, and jail cells.
This is so depressing, makes you feel like it's impossible for the world to get better.
Some things just take longer to resolve than one generation will live, in my opinion. It will eventually, but expecting a perfect solution to problems so complex to always be available is ridiculous and kills people. Some things just don't have an ideal way to fix them. That being said, it's been over 40 years now, so there's as good a chance as ever. So Fareen and Khoshhal Bashid to all the brave people protesting. It matters so much that this keeps happening.
It took nearly 100 years to make cars safe. People had to fight lobbyists every step of the way for every safety feature we have now. But here we are, surviving way more car crashes. Edit, as safe as they are, which definitely has a lot of room for improvement, but still much safer relative to the last 100 years.
Imagine murdering someone because you don't agree with the way they are dressing.
Some people just want any excuse to murder, and religion can serve that purpose.
I like to think they prefer to control people and have a feeling of absolute control.
Iran has its own protest during the Arab Spring revolutions. The difference was Iran knew how to stop them. Turn the internet off and unleash the security forces and militias. Militia trucks would drive straight into the protesters. People were beaten, assaulted, arrested, and hung, and the world eventually forgot about it. Once the protests were crushed, internet was restored and the world carried on. For regimes like this, they know the playbook. Crush the protest hard and fast and as little outside news as possible. Soon the 24 hours news stations will move on and no one will speak for the oppressed.
Revolution is the only answer.
You need the military on your side for a successful revolution, coup. This is gonna quietly end the same as Hong Kong protest.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.